The reign of Tinubu terror is gradually coming to an end as many ethnic groups are now seeking to divide. The Igbos are clamoring for Biafra, the Yorubas are clamoring for Oduduwa Kingdom, and the Edos are clamoring for Republic of Benin. Honestly speaking, Tinubu government is in tears right now because the country is splitting gradually. The country is splitting gradually. According to informations from our reliable source, the UN, that is the United Nations Organization, is reportedly intervening in Nigeria due to increasing social media conflict, particularly related to ethnic tensions such as those involving Yorubas, Igbos, and Edo State. Many of you know what is happening in Lagos as the Yorubas are asking the Igbos to leave Lagos. So this is causing a lot of pressure among the international community, stating that if this continues, the country might be forced to divide. However, a woman named Amaka in Canada sparked outrages on social media, leading to threats and further ethnic clashes online. The woman made a very deadly statement that he's going to kill Yorubas and Edos in Canada. That statement created a lot of controversy in Nigeria as people were calling for her arrest. Even Nigerian politicians were also calling for her arrest. Although many supported the woman's statement while some did not support it, her statement defines the division in Nigeria, which shows that Nigeria is divided and there is absolutely no way Nigeria can function as a one entity. This one Nigeria of a thing is a thing of the past because there is absolutely nothing that can make Nigeria to become one again, since there is so much hatred among the ethnic groups, just like what is happening in Lagos right now as the Yorubas are asking the Igbos to leave Lagos. They are asking the Igbos to go back to their hometown and leave Lagos. This is two ethnic groups that have lived together for years. Now the Yorubas are asking the Igbos to leave Lagos. I believe the politicians are the one inciting this division and ethnic hatred. And the UN has come out to state categorically that the increasing social conflict, particularly the ethnic tension involving Yorubas, Igbos, and Edos, will lead to division of Nigeria. However, the UN has recognized this division among Nigerian ethnic group. The Igbos are clamoring for the Republic of Biafra. The Yorubas are clamoring for the Oduduwa Kingdom, or should I say the Oduduwa Republic, while the Benins, the Edos, are clamoring for Republic of Benin. So you can see the division among the ethnic groups in Nigeria. Honestly speaking, there is a deep division among ethnic groups in Nigeria, with each group clamoring or wanting an autonomous or their own nations. The question right now is, will Tinubu allow such to happen? because right now there is nothing like one Nigeria. The country is messed up. The country is messed up. There's a lot of insecurity in the country. People are being kidnapped every day. A lot of things is happening in the country. A lot of things is happening in Nigeria. Seriously speaking, this shows that we have bad leaders, and this shows a failed state, because a failed state is a state without unity. We call it a failed state. Nigeria is a failed state where kidnapping has become a business for some people. A lot of atrocities are going on in Nigeria. Tribal hatred, ethnicity hatred, and so on and so forth. Honestly speaking, I think the best thing that can happen to Nigeria is division. The United Nations should interfere so that the referendum would be made for division, so that everyone will go and form their own country, since they can no longer live together as one. Because Nigeria deep division cannot be resolved. Only a referendum can save this situation. The government should allow these different ethnic groups to go and form their own country, as unity appears unattainable. They have to go and govern themselves separately so that there will be peace. The Fulanis are also clamoring for their own country. So you can see the different ethnic groups are all clamoring for their own countries. So the best thing is for everyone to go their separate way and form their country, since the hatred is becoming too much. Just the report reaching us right now by Observatory for Religion Freedom in Africa, ORFA. The report stated that over 56,000 Nigerians have been killed by terrorists and armed Fulani herdsmen in the last 4 years, while 21,621 Nigerians have been kidnapped. This report was made by Observatory for Religion Freedom in Africa, ORFA. According to them, over the last 4 years, Nigeria experienced 55,910 deaths in 9,970 attacks, with 21,621 people abducted in 2,705 incidents, according to the Observatory for Religion Freedom in Africa. This organization have made a thorough research to reveal that so many people have been killed by these notorious terrorists and bandits. That is to say, over 56,000 people have been killed in the last 4 years, while 21,621 Nigerians have been kidnapped by these bandits. This shows that there is a lot of insecurity in the country. The Observatory for Religion Freedom in Africa also documented 11,610 distinct attacks involving killings and abductions, averaging 8 such attacks per day during the period, which means there is an average of 8 attacks per day during this period. Civilians were heavily impacted, with 30,880 killed in 6,942 attacks, while 21,532 were adopted in 2,670 incidents. Armed groups and terrorist organizations, including armed Fulani herdsmen and Boko Haram/ISWAP, were primarily responsible for the violence. This means Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, and ISWAP were the terrorists responsible for the death of over 56,000 Nigerians and the kidnaps of over 21,621 Nigerians in the last 4 years. However, despite significant security spending by the Nigerian government, insecurity still persists. It was reported that the Nigerian government has spent over 2 trillion naira to fight insecurity, but yet insecurity still persists. This clearly shows that these armed terrorists are more stronger, or should I say, they are more heavily armed than the Nigerian military. That is what it means. It means that these terrorists are stronger than Nigerian security forces. If the Nigerian forces cannot be able to defeat these terrorists that they have been fighting for more than 2 decades, honestly speaking, a lot of atrocities is happening in Nigeria. Another report reveals that Nigerian authorities used police tracker to monitor political enemies' mistresses instead of terrorist kidnappers. This was reviewed by a retired senior police officer. According to him, the Intelligent Response Team (IRT) once used a real-time tracking platform to effectively monitor kidnappers and intercept calls, leading to significant criminal arrest. This means the IRT formerly were using real-time tracking platform to monitor kidnappers, intercept their calls, and arrest them. But right now, everything have changed. They are now using these trackers to monitor political enemies and mistresses instead of terrorists and kidnappers that they are meant to track. The system installed under the former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase in 2015 provided crucial data on criminals' locations and communication patterns, aiding in high-profile cases like the arrest of kidnappers of Chief Olu Fale. The police officer further stated that in 2015, the then Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase initiated these trackers and gave it to investigative police officers, which was used for tracking criminals and fishing out their locations. According to him, in 2015, the police were able to rescue Chief Olu Fale, a high-profile government official who was kidnapped by these hoodlums. But right now, there is nothing like police tracker because the tracker is now useless. It can't do anything again. He further stated that successive IGPs mismanaged the platform, merging technical and operational units, which led to its misuse by politicians for tracking enemies and mistresses instead of preventing crime. The police officer further revealed that the current IGP have mismanaged the platform, thereby merging technical and operational units together, which has led to the misuse by politicians for tracking enemies and mistresses instead of preventing crime. It further stated that the trackers are now useless as it can no longer perform the duty it was meant for. Rather, some politicians are now using it to track their own enemies, their own political enemies and mistresses, instead of using it to prevent crime. And that is why the rate of crime, the high rate of crime is increasing every day. The platform fell into disrepair due to non-payment of subscription fees and failure to upgrade the system, leading to its eventual breakdown and reduced functionality. The police officer further stated that the platform fell into disrepair, which means the tracker was unable to be repaired due to non-payment of subscription fees and failure of upgrading the system. So the tracker could no longer function anymore, which means the trackers are now useless. And that is why the security forces like the police could no longer be able to track these criminals, especially these kidnappers, these Fulani herdsmen that have been kidnapping Nigerians and demanding for huge ransom, because the politicians have misused the trackers, and instead of using it for what it was meant for, they were using it for nonsense things, using it for tracking of their own enemies and mistresses. However, the tracking system became non-operational as the company responsible for its maintenance withdrew services after a prolonged period of unpaid fees, hindering police efforts to combat violent crimes. The police officer finally concluded by saying that the tracking system has become non-operational as the company responsible for its maintenance has withdrawn services after a prolonged period of unpaid fees, which means they have not been paid for a long period of time. And for that reason, they decided to remove their hands from the tracking machine, or should I say the tracking system, which now made the tracking system to become non-operational. According to them, the reason why they withdrew their services is because of prolonged period of unpaid fees, that their fees were not paid by the government. And according to the police officer, this is now hindering police efforts to combat violent crime, which means that without the trackers, the police cannot be able to do their job effectively. They can no longer track these kidnappers that have been kidnapping Nigerians. They can no longer track them, and that is why the rate of kidnapping is increasing drastically in Nigeria, because of the failed system. The operation of the tracker is no longer in progress because the tracking system has become non-operational. So therefore, the police are now finding it difficult to track kidnappers and their whereabouts. So for that reason, police can no longer be able to track these criminals because there is no provision for it. The government can no longer provide any tracking system for them again. That is why they are unable to protect Nigerians from these terrorists and kidnappers. So I don't know what you guys think about this report. Honestly speaking, I think this is just story, because if truly the Nigerian government wants to track down these kidnappers and terrorists, they have the resources to do that. And they also have personnel. There are Nigerians who are good in technology. There are Nigerians that can still build a new tracking system for them, just that they don't want to provide any tracking system because they are benefiting from the kidnapping business. If they are not benefiting, why are they not doing the necessary thing in tracking these criminal elements? They are benefiting from the kidnapping. That is why they are not doing anything to arrest these kidnappers that have been making life miserable for Nigerians. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you on this news segment. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share this video, and come back for more updates. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day.